I'm Heather. I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark. My closet name is Hot Posh Fashions. And in this video, I'm just going to do some listing of some new items. I'm also going to complete some listings of drafts that I have just to kind of show you my procedures and how I go about doing my listings, to see if you have if this helps you and adds any ideas to your way of doing it. Also, if you see something that you think I could improve on, I'm always open to suggestions and help. I have recently started to kind of not put as much individual detail in my descriptions just because it's so time consuming and I currently have a ginormous death pile. So what I'm doing is just trying to get stuff listed right now. And then if I need to go back after I get through this death pile, I can go back and add some more detail to my descriptions. I'm trying to get detailed titles, and I have measurements and stuff like that in my pictures, and I'm of course putting things like whether it's new with tags, new without tags, excellent, pre-loved or good pre-loved condition, vintage condition, whatever. And I've got kind of my setup that I do for how I like my descriptions to look, but I am leaving out some of my more detailed descriptions that I would normally do just because for time saving, because I have such a huge death pile that I need to get through, and I can't sell it if it ain't listed. So, and those detailed descriptions aren't necessarily important to everyone. So listen to some music for just a minute, and when the next one starts here, the next listing starts, I'll start to give you some, details on what I'm doing in the descriptions. I guess I'll pick up right here. In the description, you can see I copied the title that I created. I'm putting excellent pre-loved condition there. I've got a shortcut that you just saw me type. You can put that in your settings on an iPhone, and it will automatically fill that in for you. Then I just kind of format it the way I want it, because in the settings it does do it all in one line. If you notice, I also pasted that title again at the bottom so that those descriptions kind of pop up in the SEOs. And here I'm selecting category. As you can see, I try to select the thing that's most appropriate. Sometimes if I kind of think something is, but I'm not 100% sure, then I'll just leave it more generalized so that doesn't, and you see I selected skinny because it's a skinny pant. And I'm gonna, let's see. Oh, I just realized that the spelling was wrong when I checked the skinny pants. So I'm fixing that spelling so that it doesn't affect my searches, as you can see there. I always try to make sure that I take advantage of the style tags that Poshmark offers to help my listing stand out. I'm not super great with them, but I try to do my best, and I always make sure that I fill in something, even if it's something kind of generic. I try to make sure I use them. So with my resale items, I always put 0 as the original price. For my boutique items, I usually put $9.99, but this is a resale item, so I put 0. I'm kind of checking Poshmark's comps of what they are suggesting the price, and I generally stay right about the high end of whatever they suggest. They're usually pretty good. So the software I'm using right here is called Photo Room. There is a free version you can get. I do have the version that I pay for, but this is what I use to remove the backgrounds on my photos. There's actually a Poshmark option or setting. It will format it perfectly for you. In that setting, it removes the background, but it puts a shadow. I remove that shadow. I make sure my pictures are crisp along the edges. And then I have some graphics of water in different colors that I put as the background. I'm just colorful. I don't like a solid white background. Some people swear by a solid white background, and that's just my way of branding and standing out from the crowd. That's a choice I made, a very conscious choice I made. And eventually all of my listings will have this water background in various colors that kind of go with my branding as I get through all of them to update them. But that's just, like I said, a choice that I made to have my branding stand out when people are scrolling through tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of listings. I'm hoping that it still gives that crisp clearness of what people are trying to accomplish with a white background, but I'm doing it with something that's me and something that's my brand, as opposed to just a solid white background. And again, that's just a preference. And you can do something similar to that with your branding, or if you like the white background, by all means do the white background, but be sure to remove the background. Whatever you choose to do, it just gives that crisp look. If you remove whatever background you have in your original photo, at least for your cover shot. I'm not saying you have to do it to every single photo. I don't. I only do it to my cover shot, unless for some reason I took some picture that's not in my normal setup, that's real messy or something. Then I might remove something in addition to my cover shot, but I 100% always do my cover shot. So here's the shortcut again. And what I call this, and I actually didn't coin this, someone else did, but I call this a buyer's confidence statement. And essentially it's my accomplishments on Poshmark and as a reseller to allow the buyer to buy with confidence, so that they realize that I'm experienced, and I'm kind of pointing out to them those accomplishments so that they don't second guess buying with me. So I actually highly recommend that you make one of these if you haven't already. And like I said, you can create a shortcut in your settings on your phone and just have some simple a couple letters or a word or something like that, that when you type that, it automatically just fills in whatever your buyer confidence statement is. And then be sure to add that to all of your listings, because it really does give that buyer confidence to shop with you. So I was experiencing some technical difficulties right here for some reason. The comps weren't loading, and when I tried to list this item, it didn't want to list either. So you'll see that I save it as a draft towards the end. I kind of cut out the part where I kept trying to list it over and over and over, and it wasn't working. I'm really glad you stopped by my channel today. This video is not over yet, so please watch through, because there's more to come, more tips and tricks on listing. And if you're enjoying this video, please click like. It really helps the algorithm get other people to see my video and to come to my channel. Also, if you like content like this, reseller content or Poshmark related content, or things like Jomar unboxings or anything like that, thrift hauls or anything, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because those are the types of videos I do. And also be sure to go check out some of my other videos, because I have several videos of unboxings and sales videos and things of that nature. So come on by my channel and check it out. I do when I'm selecting which color background to use is I try to use something that complements the colors of whatever the item is in the listing, so that the item kind of pops out a little bit. I was told by a graphic designer once that if you squint your eyes, can you still tell what the picture is? And if you can't, that means that the background isn't right, and that you need to fix the background to make it more of a contrast complementary color, as opposed to something as too similar to the color of the item. Because if it's too similar to the color of the item, it blends in, the item blends in with the background, and it's not as eye-catching when people are scrolling through listings, that it just doesn't stand out as much as if it was on a complementary contrast color, and it would pop more from the background. So that's kind of a tip I would have for you when you are selecting whatever background. That's probably why people do white a lot, is because it obviously jumps out. But if you're going to do any type of background other than white, then it's good to kind of like do that little eye squint challenge. And I've found that prior to this person telling me this, I was actually matching my backgrounds somewhat to the picture, as opposed to doing contrast or complementary colors. I was doing matching colors. And when I did the little eye squint thing, he was right. They like just blended right together, and it just pretty much looked like a box, and my item wasn't really popping out of the listing. So I think that's some really good advice if you're unsure, to do the little eye squint challenge and see if that helps you. So this brand, See You Soon, is kind of a boutique brand. I get these items from Jomar wholesale, but it's very boutique-y. And in doing some research, I have found that sometimes Anthropologie carries this brand. So lots of times I'll list this as Anthropologie. Here in a minute, you're going to see me do a search right here. And I'm looking for, at one point I found a description of the brand itself, and that's what I'm looking for. But I'm also looking to see if I can find any more information on who carries this brand. So I'm just kind of doing some searching right through here of the brand See You Soon. So I'm almost certain that in the past, the description that I'm looking for, I have found on this site. This is the brand site. You cannot buy directly on this site. You have to be a wholesaler, or you have to buy wholesale on this site. So this is how your retail would get the supply of this brand. But I know that this site turns into English because I've done it before, and I want the description of the brand to put in the description of my listings, but I can't figure out how to turn it to English. So I guess I'm gonna have to mess with this at a later time, because I don't want you guys to have to watch like 20 minutes of me trying to figure out how to do this. sorry for this little delay right here. That site, Pleste, whatever it is, Tendencies, it just does not ever want to load. And when it does, it's very, very slow. So I wasn't sure at the moment I was doing this if it was my internet connection or if it was just the site being slow. It is a foreign site or an overseas site, and it actually was that site being slow. So you can see what some of like the retail prices are on these items, because this is a retailer that sells this brand, but it is kind of like, believe it's a French retailer, but you can kind of see different. I'm looking for the See You Soon brand description, because I know I have found it before and I want to put it in my listings. And I'm actually, whenever I do find it, I'm going to save it as a shortcut so that I don't ever lose it again. But I'm just kind of looking for it and I can't find it. So So it's definitely getting close to being time to give up this search. I've gone from trying to find the brand description, and now I'm just kind of glancing through to see if, by some crazy odd chance I can find a stock photo or a description of this exact item. And obviously that's not happening. And the reason is just because this is such a borrowed from the boys look. I was really hoping to get something to kind of show it's styled better than I'm capable of styling it. So right here, also See You Soon does not come up. And I thought in the past when I've done See You Soon, I've done Anthropology. So, and I think I did that because I have found online, and I'm about to do a search here in just a second, that there's a lot of online evidence that Anthropology sells See You Soon. So I've kind of added that in there just so that it will pop up. It's the type of thing that buyer would be looking for. And it is a brand that Anthropology has at some point carried and continues to carry. here and there. And I think I'm going to do a little search for it here in just a second, just to make sure. Yeah, see, so those things are popping up. But then I think here in a second, I'm going to go over and just verify this. Yeah. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to do a little search and just do see you soon, Anthropologie, and see what comes up. And as I'm searching that, a lot of things start coming up with the two. There it is. See you soon, Anthropologie. And so a lot of things pop up with the two together. So I think it's reasonable to use that brand or that branding, store branding. So let's give it just another second, because I think I scroll down here and find some more. Yeah, there you go. Whole bunch together. And I'm not, personally knowledgeable of Anthropologie in that we don't have an Anthropologie anywhere near me. I've never actually been to an Anthropologie store or anything like that. And I've never owned anything Anthropologie, so I'm not super knowledgeable on it. So I kind of have to go by what I find online when I'm doing research. So I've kind of given it the Anthropologie title there, and I'm just going to edit things just to kind of put that in the search there. So in addition to pricing, there's a place at the bottom there that you can put cost, and I enter in my cost, and then in the note box at the bottom, I also enter in whatever my current listing price is in case something happens. I have that to go back in case I was to do a price change or something like that. Not that I do that often, but the cost bar, also the section there where you can put in your cost. The programs that I use Seller Insights app, and it calculates from that. And I also think that the new Seller Insights on Poshmark is also calculating that aspect of it. It's taking the amount that you put in the cost box to help you calculate your profit after cost of goods. So I think it's real important to make sure you put that in there, if for no other reason for your own personal data keeping, but also because it helps if you're using any type of software or anything like that to run your statistics to find out how much money you're actually making. So this software right here is called Pixomatic, and I use this to add my little branding logo onto my pictures. It's not something you have to do, it's just something I like to do for my cover shots. Again, I just think it helps it stand out and it helps it be mine. Some people would agree, some people would say it's distracting. I try to keep it fairly small, and I always have it in the same spot. That's why if you'll notice, I keep the setup the same, and all I'm doing is switching out the image with the listing, and I just switch that out, but the logo never moves, never changes, so it's always the same right there. So that's the program I use for that. I also use that program, it's real good about layering things and adding text. So I also use it to create my cover shots and my opening for my YouTube videos, and I use it to create some pop-up things that sometimes I put in my videos too. If I need text or something like that, I'll kind of add that in there sometimes, even though that there is a text feature on the iMovie software I use for creating my videos also. This color block brand I cannot find anywhere. This box from Jomar is the first time I've ever seen it or heard of it, and every time I try to search it, unfortunately or unfortunately, it's a fad right now. It's very trendy, the color block style. So every time I try to search it, all I'm finding are, things in that color block trend style. So I have no idea about this brand. It seems very similar to See You Soon and that Oliviocious brand that I sell a lot. But I don't really know much about it other than that. So I'm also, this jacket has kind of a interesting silhouette and collar area and stuff like that. It's almost like kimono, like a little bit of like that Japanese Asian inspired. But I couldn't find anything. As you can see, I'm kind of like searching through different types of blazer styles and collar styles and stuff like that to see if I can find something that actually will give it a name. But I don't really find anything. But I do kind of feel like it is a little bit of a kimono style, but I didn't want to commit to that because I couldn't find anything that specifically said that. And I didn't want people to confuse it with a kimono because it's not really a kimono. It's definitely a blazer. So I end up not choosing any of them. Well, now this isn't right. Back to the drawing board. So I haven't really talked about how I do titles yet. I like to get the brand name, any colors, any special fabrics, what the item is, any, if it's a jacket or a coat or pants or a shirt or sweater, more specific things like, is it a cardigan or, whatever, crop pants or whatever, specific style names, high-waisted, mid-rise, sleeveless, spaghetti straps, things like that. I try to get those types of things in my title. Also, I at the end, my format is to put size in lowercase, and then the size either in number or write out the word small, medium, large, or XL or whatever. If I don't have enough characters, I'll change the word size to SZ to abbreviate it. But I really try to use as many of the characters they provide as possible because the more the better. So anytime I feel like, hey, I still have, 30 characters or something like that they're going to give me, I try to come up with something else to put in there that describes the item. I don't want to, not take advantage of something that Poshmark's giving me to help me as a seller. So I really try to take advantage of everything that they give me. And one of the things that they give me is my title and the characters in the title. So I really try to take advantage of that. There's, a lot of controversy on whether or not to put measurements in listings or not. I do my measurements pretty standard with my photos. I just keep my tape measure there, and I just, there's a couple of specific measurements I do. I take pictures of them and wham, bam, I put them in the listing and that's it. I don't put anything in the description. I'm like, hey, look at the pics. But I've never had anyone ask anything about measurements when I've had pictures of measurements. I would much rather, take that couple of seconds or, it takes me 30 seconds to a minute to take the couple little quick photographs I take of measurements. And I would much rather do that up front than, get a question about measurements and have to go dig the item out and then take measurements and then take pictures and then post them and all that stuff. And then sometimes it takes me a couple of days because, people always ask for measurements when I'm on my way to work and I can't get the measurements when I'm on my way to work. So, by the time I get home, I've got a toddler and it's just easier. It's just so much easier and I'm more consistent with it and it's done and I don't have to worry about it. And I think that, not everyone is going to ask for measurements. They might just scroll to the next thing because they're not there. but at the same time, I put them in the pictures as opposed to writing them out because multiple reasons. One, it's faster and easier and less time consuming, I believe, to do it that way. And also because it lets the person look at where the measurement is starting and ending. So they can see it as if they were measuring it themselves, as opposed to me just measuring it however I think and then popping numbers in there. So they can actually see what it looks like. So that's why I do that way. So we listed several things from scratch, and that last listing and then this one right here, what I did was I have drafts that mostly I've just done the pictures and that's it. So here I'm just going in and grabbing a draft and completing it because these things have been sitting for several weeks with the holidays and my vacation and everything like that. I need to get these caught up. So you can see I'm just going ahead and, once it's in drafts and you go to edit it, it's just the same thing as listing. So you just fill everything in and then you click, the list at the end. But if you can also, edit a draft and then redraft it again. So, where it just adding whatever you added onto it. But you're not quite ready to list it yet. Either you're not completed or you're just not ready time-wise. You can go ahead and hit cancel, and then it will allow you to save draft, and it will be in your drafts. So this is actually really good. Drafts are a really good way of if you have time to create listings, like a bunch of listings at once, but you don't necessarily want to list them all because it's good for the algorithm. It's good for your business to be listing some every day. It's a recommended 5, or another recommendation is twice of whatever you hope to sell each day. So if you hope to sell 1 listing a day, then you should list 2 a day. If you're wanting to sell 3 a day, you should list 6 a day, so on and so forth. So with that being said, some people like to sit down and create a whole bunch of listings all at once, maybe publish 5 of them and then draft another 20 more. And then what you can do is easily go into your drafts, and if they're completed, it's a matter of a couple of clicks to go ahead and list it. But then you get to list throughout the week or whatever. So say one day you have time to sit down and do a whole bunch of listings all at once, but then you can draft them, and then throughout the week, maybe you don't have as much time during the week to be creating listings, but you still want to be actively listing things. So that would be your opportunity to take advantage of the drafts and go ahead and quickly list things that you have created, say on your day off or whatever, or a day that you had that wasn't as busy. So that's a good use of the draft function on Poshmark. You'll see here I also include pictures of any fabric and care tags so that there's not any questions about those. If it's a particularly good fabric, I will also add it into either the title or the description. But for the most part, if it's not anything really good, I don't bother with that. I just have the picture of it. So that if someone's wondering what the fabric is, they can look and see that the fabric is there in the listing. That's all for now. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel and checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. If you have any tips for me, drop them in the comments. Have a blessed day.